Yes.
If you're standing behind a tasting bar, let me tell you, it's way easier listening to people compliment you about your wine than it is to watch them spit it out.
And I think it's a great segue into your wine, the Amorous Sangiovese. So you only work with growers. You only buy fruit. You don't own vineyards. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience, how long you've been making wine, how your relationships have gone with growers since you kicked everything off?
Well, we've been a bonded winery for 11 years now, and before that, I worked at several other wineries in the area and even up in the Sierra foothills. And before that, I was a home winemaker. Who doesn't love to have a hobby that you can go home and taste? I drink all that, so they had to help me out there. But when we started Makia Winery, we knew that we didn't have any vineyards, and we knew we wanted to specialize in, say, Old Vine Zinfandel. And you couldn't go out and buy a 100-year-old vineyard, but you could buy grapes from those special places. So that's kind of where we decided to go. And then I also had a passion for some of the Italian wines that I've tasted. So we had to have some Sangiovese, we had to have Barberas. So it just kind of evolved from there.
And these were the Sangiovese, the Barbera. They were out there, ready to be sold, to be purchased?
Not as much as, say, Cabins Inn is around here, and you really had to look for them. I actually had to wait a few years till I got a reputation, maybe making some wines that growers would like to associate with me. But after that, I've got the growers that I work with. I'll buy the whole vineyard of the grapes from them now, and they'll ask me, what do you think we should do out here? How do we think we should do this? So while we don't own any vineyards, I actually feel like I own about 20 of them because I'm putting my footprints everywhere in the appellation.
So what are you looking for? It's actually, it's kind of interesting because another thing that I've learned about Lodi, a lot of the vineyards are big estates, big blocks. So a lot of people are working in one or two spots, and this is a gigantic appellation. So you're working 20 different spots in the appellation. Can you talk a little bit about the diversity that you find here?
Yeah, if it is a big vineyard, then I will probably set aside a block or some rows, and we'll try to farm it a little bit different. I'll usually pay them a little bit more for it. I try to make sure that they're going to be in business year after year, so my growers are among the highest paid in the appellation. But I also demand a lot more from them. I'll say, I'll pay you just what you got for, say it was an acre. I'll pay you for this acre what you get for this acre, but we're going to go out and drop half the fruit. So they think I'm crazy because I can get more money if I had more wine, but I think my passion is making the very best wine that we can do and kind of showing them the ways and the whys of how we make good wine. And then getting back to the different growing areas, yeah, Lodi, if you go to the west, you've got basically sea level. You've got delta right there, and that delta just drains right out into the bay. And then if you go up a little bit further, you've got very, very rocky soil. It's red decomposed granite, and it's very different than what you get on the west side of Lodi. Same thing with the weathers. If you're on the west side, you're going to get the cool delta breezes more often, and you're going to get them more intense. When you get back to the east side, rolling hills again, so everything has to be on drip if you want to water it. And the soils are not nearly as fertile out there as they are throughout the valley.
So out of the different appellations that make up, or the sub-appellations in Lodi, which ones are you working in?
I actually have vineyards in every single one of them.
Wow.
The vast majority are in the Mokelumne AV8. They're just kind of a more established appellation, but the further north you go, you just get different styles, and that's what fascinates me, especially in the Zinfandel branch, where I can make 10 different Zinfandels exactly the same way, and they're going to taste different just because of where they came from.
It's kind of exciting as a winemaker you're painting with different colors.
Absolutely, yeah, and like you said, our appellation is one of the larger ones, so you can't really just paint the whole thing with a big broad brush because there is so many microclimates or just the way we grow things here or the soil types.
And when we say big, we're talking it's 50 miles.
It's about 50 miles probably from north to south. There's 100,000 acres of wine grapes in total in the region. So, and 750 growers. So it's a fairly significantly sized area.
So 100,000 acres, bigger than Sonoma and Napa combined.
Yeah,
Just
our
to
total
help
production.
put it into perspective.